Be joining us top of next hour to discuss the possibility of baseball coming back. The optics not good a couple of days ago. A lot of talk about rev share. Folks right now with 15 to 20% unemployment don't want to talk about millionaires and billionaires battling over rev share, so we'll talk to him coming up. Here's Joy Taylor, though, first with the news.
No.
Turn on the news.
This is the Herdline News, sponsored by Mercedes-Benz. The best or nothing.
Shaq is one of the latest all-time greats to speak about Michael Jordan in The Last Dance, and he added his thoughts about why the documentary is cementing Jordan's place as the GOAT.
He says we should probably break it down the eras on who was the best player ever. But Michael Jordan, by far, stuff that he's done, I don't see anybody being close to that. You know, he's a 10. There's a lot of 7s and 8s out there, but there's no 9s or 10s.
He also thinks that MJ would score 45 points easily if he played in today's NBA, and said that he would average 51.
Well, Michael also wouldn't be as great as a defensive player because you couldn't hand check, which was his not-so-secret weapon. So I think Jordan wouldn't be as dominating on the defensive end. I think, you can't stop any point guards now. If you're fat, like a Westbrook, you can't stop point guards today.
The game is more speed and finesse now.
Yes, and you just can't stop anybody. So Michael wouldn't be as dominant defensively, and that was a huge component to his game.
I do think Shaq might score 51. Now.
Well, here's the other thing. It's not a mid-range game. So Michael never showed an ability to hit the current three with this, because Michael had a unique body. Huge hands, but average feet. So Michael had size 13 shoe. That's pretty average by NBA standards. Small by some NBA standards, but enormous hands. So Michael was not somebody where the three-point shot was effortless. He was built to be fast.
I do think that Michael would have, maybe because he wasn't a natural three-point shooter, but it wasn't an important part of the game back then. So I do think that if he was playing today, he would focus on improving his three-point shot. He was a very efficient scorer, as we know. So I don't know. I mean, Kawhi kind of brought a little of the mid-range back last year.
Oh, I don't doubt.
I don't know that it wouldn't have been completely ineffective.
Yeah, I don't doubt Michael would have been dominant, but I
45 is a lot.
He was not just a mid-range shooter. He was the greatest mid-range shooter ever. I think he would be somewhat reluctant to move off. If you're the greatest blank, I mean, Ricky Henderson stole bases. Don't take that away from him. That's his DNA. So, again, Michael would be great, but I think we always rush to this. Well, you just score 45. Kevin Durant, 7 feet. You can't block his shot, and he doesn't average 45.
Yeah.
By the way, Michael, in order to win today, because Michael's about winning, he'd have to play with other stars. So Scottie Pippen was never a scorer. To win championships today, you better have a second score and a third. So I don't think Michael would be doing that to win championships.
I do think the defensive thing would be interesting because removing the hand check is an important element of it, but it's not that the game is not, like, it's still very physical. There's not, obviously, the fouls that we're seeing, on the Last Dance. But
you can't stop anybody from getting to the basket. Now, remember this. So,
well, they protect the shooter so much more now.
Kobe Bryant's record went down the more he scored over 30. So if Michael scored 45, what star would want to play with him? Who wants to play with a guy scoring 45 and your average goes 28 to 18? So Michael would end up playing with really great players.
Right.
And so this is just, it's one of those bar arguments.
It is, but it's so fun, though. But I don't think it would work. And now the NBA is kind of different than the last year, because would that work in, like, the Big Three era when everyone had 3 stars? Who knows? So the Rams unveiled their new uniforms for the 2020 season. We saw the leak of their logos and then the release of their logos, and there was a little bit of backlash. But the new look includes a blue jersey featuring a yellow gradients, numbering with interchangeable blue or yellow pants.
I love the home uni.
And then there's also an off-white jersey and pant combation.
And then
the new helmet is a metallic chrome blue.
I think they look tight. They're clean.
I actually love them. I love the helmets. I did not like the new logo. I felt like it kind of resembled like a bus logo or something. It just wasn't as strong for a Rams logo, but these uniforms are great. Those uniforms are my favorite. That combination.
I think I got to be honest. In the NFL, Cowboys uniforms, I like them because they're clean. These are just clean.
But these also look very LA.
Yes.
Like, they're very sharp. They pop. So good job, Rams.
Yeah, I like them.
All right, finally, Justin Gaethje punched his ticket to face Khabib in a title unification bout later this year.
Yeah.
And Dana White says it could happen as earlier as this summer. In an interview with ESPN Chicago, he said he plans to have Khabib Gaethje, the fight, take place in July on Fight Island, which should be ready to host events by mid-June. So Fight Island the idea is not gone. Obviously, we know they had UFC 249 in Jacksonville this weekend, but he is still working on doing the private island with all of the fighters there and having Gaethje, Khabib on Fight Island.
It will be their biggest revenue-grossing fight. No, wait, no, it won't be Mayweather and Conor. So it'll be number 2.
But that was kind of wasn't
a boxing match.
Yeah, that was not really like a UFC production. It was like a split situation. So like a specifically UFC only fight. I mean,
Justin Gaethje in this fight, this would be, in my opinion, the only thing that would rival it is Nate Diaz and Conor McGregor. The second time they fought, that felt like this generation's Ali Frazier.
Yes, that was a huge fight, but this will be so important because obviously it's going to be limited sports on television as well. We'll talk more about this story on Joy Chat at 3:30 Eastern on Caffeine Free app. Subscribe to the Fox Sports channel, and we'll be live at 3:30 Eastern on Caffeine for Joy Chat.
Very good stuff. Joy Taylor with the news.
Well, that's the news.
And thanks for stopping by.
The Herd Line News.
So, yesterday I was told by 2 people I trust the USC-Alabama game will not happen. It's a pipe dream. The people I talked to brought up several points. Number 1, college football is going to be more regional this year. It's going to be regionalized, and it should. Less travel. Don't put student athletes. These are not professional athletes. Do not put them in the crosshairs on cross-country trips. College football is going to be more regional. By the way, there was a report by Paul Feinbaum that Bama has already contacted TCU if USC and Bama cannot play. TCU is scheduled to place Cal, USC, Bama. So you had 2 Pac-12 teams, and that is drying up. And it should, in my opinion. There is also the NCAA has not had any parameters on if you have to start the same time. Huge disadvantage to California schools. USC is concerned, I'm told, about not having enough practices, as Alabama could have a 3-week to a month head start on practices. No thanks, facing Nick Saban, who has 20 more practices than my coaching staff and my players are equipped to deal with. Also, California yesterday announced 3 more months stay at home, no large gatherings. How does UCLA practice? How does USC practice, as southern states are much more willing to let it go? The Cal State system announced yesterday, no on-campus classes this fall. Don't be shocked if the Pac-12, at least in California, follows. The uneven practice schedule, I'm told, right now the leader in the clubhouse is the Pac-12 playing a condensed football schedule, spring or fall, based on 10 to 11 games, Pac-12 teams facing one another, no out-of-conference games. I am rooting for it to happen. I think less travel, more regionalization is the way to go. And so that's what I am told. USC, for the record, if there's ever been a break in scheduling, not playing Alabama with more preparation time than you, maybe the greatest break in scheduling in the history of college football. Not necessarily a bad thing for the Trojans. Something else I thought about, NBA owners yesterday and star players went on a conference call with Adam Silver. And Adam Silver, I think, was stronger and more defiant than he had been. My takeaway on this entire situation we're in right now, UFC, NASCAR, and the NFL have flourished. NASCAR will this weekend. Why? Because they have a centralized voice. Dana White, a centralized voice. Roger Goodell, what did he say? Stop talking general managers, stop talking coaches. What Adam Silver has not had until yesterday when I sensed it is I'll do the talking, a centralized place, strong leadership going forward. I also think something else is in play here. If we do not have a vaccine, and nobody's predicting it before the end of the year, it will not only affect this NBA season, it will affect next NBA season. This is really a business move. Now, we know right now in America, the safest people with the virus are people under 35, especially those in amazing shape. Professional athletes, the NBA. There's a lot of things at work here, but yesterday I was more encouraged